Hello students, welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing great and your studies are going on well because the final timetable is out from KSLU and I hope that you have received the same and you are preparing for your exams. Now, when we talk about exams, starting off the semester, it's all well and good. We think that we will study the entire syllabus, we will study each and every topic, we will study properly with cases, sections, and everything. But towards the end of semester, we realized that we have wasted a lot of time and maybe now we don't have a lot of time to focus on each and every topic. And at that stage, what becomes important for us is to know which all are the common questions or probable questions for the examination. Now, one disclaimer, even though I'm saying that these are important questions or probable questions, I am not saying that you should only study these questions and go for examination. But rather, I'm saying that you can pay a little more attention in these questions because these are common questions, these are commonly asked questions. Apart from that, I will always advise you that go through each and every topic or at least have a basic idea or basic understanding on all the topics which are mentioned in your syllabus. So now this is the jurisprudence syllabus that we have from KSLU. Now let's look at the important questions. So this is unit 1 of jurisprudence. I have classified the questions into long answers and short notes or problem-based questions for some of the subjects because problem-based questions are going to be super important from this semester onwards. As KSLU has changed the question paper pattern, I have also made a detailed video showing you the notification wherein they explained what will be the new question paper pattern like. So make sure you have checked that out and make sure that you know what is going to be the question paper pattern before you appear for your exam. Now let's look at the questions. So this is unit 1 of jurisprudence. I have classified the questions into long answers and short notes or problem-based questions for some of the subjects because problem-based questions are going to be super important from this semester onwards. As KSLU has changed the question paper pattern, I have also made a detailed video showing you the notification wherein they explained what will be the new question paper pattern like. So make sure you have checked that out and make sure that you know what is going to be the question paper pattern before you appear for your exam. Now let's look at the questions. So first we have some questions which are like long questions from unit 1. First we have is explain the utility of jurisprudence. Because when we talk about the first unit, it's all about meaning, nature, purpose of jurisprudence along with the theories. So you can expect some question around that, like what is jurisprudence, what is the scope or nature of jurisprudence and all that. So first we have is explain the utility of jurisprudence. Why is jurisprudence important? Discuss the natural law theory. From theories, definitely you can expect one or more questions. It come as a short note or as long answers as well. And by the way, I have detailed notes available for all legal and non-legal subjects, including jurisprudence, which includes questions and answers as well. So I have added all these questions and answers in my notes, whatever I'm going to show you today, whatever I'm going to discuss today. So second question we have is discuss the natural law theory. Third question we have is discuss the natural law theory along with the criticisms. Because when we talk about these theories, right, these theories are criticized by other jurists. So it's very important that whenever you are studying the theories, you should also know about its criticisms or its limitations. Fourth, we have is define jurisprudence, explain its nature and value. Now, it's very important that you can read at least one or two definitions of jurisprudence. Even though the question is not directly on the definition of jurisprudence, you can add those definitions. If you already know it, if you have already studied it, in your other questions. Like obviously, this one they clearly has asked you to define jurisprudence. You will have to add it. Apart from that, also in questions like this one, explain the meaning and scope of jurisprudence. In such questions, also you can add one or two definitions, that is totally fine. So if you study one or two definitions of jurisprudence, that effort is not going to get wasted. Most likely you will be able to use that definition somewhere in your answer. Discuss law as a system of rules, discuss the value of jurisprudence, explain lawyers' command of sovereign, discuss the nature and value of jurisprudence. So something around this meaning, utility, nature, value, something around that you can expect, because that is a very important topic from your Unit 1 syllabus. Explain natural law theory and state its relevance. So one was normally just what is natural law theory, one was natural law theory along with the criticism. This one is along with its relevance in present day situation. Again, we have explained natural law theory, which is a very common question that we often see. Define jurisprudence, explain the nature and significance of jurisprudence, utility of jurisprudence. We often see these kind of questions coming. Explain the nature and value of jurisprudence. Explain law as a command of sovereign. Examine the Austin's concept of law. Austinian concept of law. So Austin's theory you need to explain. Discuss legal realism. On legal realism, sometimes we see short notes and all being asked from Unit 1. Explain the schools of jurisprudence. So if it is in general schools of jurisprudence, you can explain each of the schools along with maybe one, two criticisms and stuff like that. If it is a specific school, there you need to explain it properly. You need to mention who all are the jurists who supported it, who criticized it, everything you need to mention regarding that specific school. You can even add the relevance of that school in present day situation as well. So these were some of the questions, around 17 questions we have from long answers part. Then we have some short notes as well. So explain the nature and scope of jurisprudence. These things are asked in short note as well. Discuss the functions and purpose of law. Sociological school of jurisprudence. Natural law. Write a note on law as system of rules. Historical school of jurisprudence. Hart's concept of law. Write a note on authority of law. Legal realism, natural law, law as a command, and Volge's theory. So all these are some of the most commonly asked questions or probable questions that you can expect from Unit 1. But then, as I always tell you, that try to have a basic understanding on each and every topic that is mentioned in your syllabus, which is very important. And only then you can appear in your exam confidently that, okay, whatever is the question, I will be able to answer it completely. So that's all from Unit 1 that we have. And for detailed notes, you can WhatsApp me on this number. It is available. All these questions are properly been answered with introduction, conclusion, wherever cases are needed, their cases are added, everything is there readily available for you just to start studying. Now we will look at the important questions from Unit 2. So first we have long questions, wherein we have firstly explain the concept of justice and what are the kinds of justice, what are the different kinds of justice. Explain the Supreme Court's opinion on deterrent theory of punishment. All these concepts are added if you look at this Unit 2 syllabus, right? Concept of justice, what is civil and criminal administration of justice, theories of punishment, everything is added here. So definitely from theories, you can expect one or two questions. It can be either as a general theories of punishment or it can be any specific theory also that they can focus on. Discuss the functions and purposes of law. Examine the necessity of administration of justice, why administration of justice is needed, and what is the difference between administration of civil and criminal justice. Then we have what is justice, what are the different kinds of justice. This is somewhat similar to the first question that we saw. Discuss the theories of punishment. So like I mentioned, it can be in general theories of punishment or it can be specifically one of the theories that they can ask. Explain the purpose of criminal justice with the help of theories of punishment. So you need to relate both these two concepts and then answer your question. So detailed notes for all these questions. Along with that, some more questions are also added. Detailed notes, everything is available. And to know more details about it, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number, 8486246493. Okay, the 3 is missing. I will just add it. So this is the number where you can WhatsApp message me to know more details about it. Discuss the questions of law and facts. This is again from unit 2 that you can expect questions. State the need of administration of justice and explain secondary functions of court of law. So what are the secondary functions that court performs, and what is the need for administration of justice? Discuss civil and criminal administration of justice. So you can either expect questions on discuss civil and criminal administration of justice, or what is civil and criminal administration of justice, or it can be differentiate between the two. Explain the theories of punishment, explain the necessity of administration of justice, and distinguish between civil and criminal administration of justice. So these were 13 long questions that we have from unit 2. Then we will move to the short questions or short notes. So we have around 11 short notes from Unit 2, which are most commonly asked. Explain the secondary functions of a court of law. Discuss the origin and development of administration of justice. Primary and secondary rights. Questions of law. Write a note on reformative theory. Write a note on law and justice. Point out the necessity of administration of justice. Write a note on purpose of punishment, why punishment is given, how it helps. You should write a note on that. Write a note on reformative theory. Write a short note on law and morality, theories of punishment. So these were some of the most commonly asked questions that we see from Unit 2 of Jurisprudence syllabus. Now we will move to important questions from Unit 3 of Jurisprudence. So I have around 18 questions. You can either get this as a long question or as a short note also. If it is a long question, you need to write in detail. If it is a short note, you can write it a bit briefly. So first we have explain legislation, meaning, scope and kinds. What is legislation? What is the meaning of legislation? Its scope and its kinds. Explain the advantage of precedent, why precedent is needed, how it helps. You need to explain that. Critically examine the legislation as a source of law. So definitely from Unit 3, something around sources of law you can expect. It can be write a short note on sources of law. It can be write a note on any of the specific sources also, or it can be how a specific source helps, like that also you can expect questions. Explain the circumstances destroying or weakening the binding force of precedent. Explain the different sources of law. Explain the circumstances weakening the binding force of precedent. Explain superiority of legislation over the other sources of law. Explain the circumstances destroying the binding force of precedent. Discuss the nature of legislation as a source of law. What is ratio decidency? State how it is determined, how we decide what is ratio decidency of a certain decision. Define legislation. What are the advantages of legislation over precedent? Explain the requisites of valid custom. What kind of customs can be considered as a valid custom? What are the conditions that it need to satisfy, or what are the essentials that we need? Explain custom as a source of law. Discuss legislation is superior to other sources of law. Explain in brief the different sources of law. Explain the circumstances destroying or weakening the binding force of precedent. Write a note on precedent. Discuss how legislation is better than other sources of law. So these are some of the questions that we can expect. These two are similar only. Discuss the nature of legislation. There was one more question, I think, related to this. Okay, this one. Discuss legislation is superior. So I can remove this one because it is same only. Okay, maybe I will remove the other one. So total 17 important or probable questions from Unit 3 of Jurisprudence. Now we will look at the important questions from Unit 4 of Jurisprudence. For long questions, we have 10 questions, and for short notes, again, we have another 10 questions. So, firstly, we have explained the meaning of rights and what are the characteristics of rights, discuss the judicial review on possession in law, discuss the characteristics of a legal right, discuss the various kinds of ownership, explain the concept of possession, explain the idea of ownership, and make distinction between sole ownership and co-ownership, define legal right, explain kinds of legal rights, discuss the concept of personality with reference to unborn person. What is the personality of unborn persons? Uh, are they considered in law or they are not considered as person? What is possession? Distinguish between possession in law and possession in fact. Discuss the legal status of lower animals, unborn person, dead person, etc. Then we have some short notes. Explain the essential elements of possession. Discuss the legal status of dead person, characteristics of ownership, legal status of an unborn person. Write a note on possessory remedy. Explain a note on distinction between possession and ownership. This is very important for us to know how possession is different from ownership. Write a note on corporate personality. Write a note on trust and beneficial ownership. Acquisition of possession. Write a note on contingent ownership. So these are some of the important or commonly asked questions from Unit 4 of Jurisprudence. Now we will look at the probable questions from Unit 5 of Jurisprudence. First, we have 10 essay type questions and 10 short notes. So discuss the kinds of mens rea, explain the various justification for vicarious liability, how you can escape the liability if a case is filed based on the principles of vicarious liability. Explain the nature of obligations and discuss the kinds of obligations. What is negligence? Discuss the theories of negligence. Explain the theory of strict liability with help of cases. Explain the theory of penal liability. Define negligence and state the subjective and objective theories of negligence. Explain vicarious liability. Explain actus non facit ream nisi mensit rea. Explain the importance of chain of causation and establishing the liability. So, how chain of causation helps in establishing liability? All these are probable questions or commonly asked questions from your Unit 5 of Jurisprudence. Then we will move to short notes. Explain the principles of just necessitates. Write a note on injuria sine demnum, negligence, sources of obligations, demnum sine injuria. Write a note on duty of care, vicarious liability, mens rea. Write a note on solidary obligation. Write a note on possession. So this injuria sine demnum, demnum sine injuria, either you can expect questions, and these are mostly like the probable questions that you can expect from Unit 5 of Jurisprudence. So that's all for today's video. I hope you will prepare well for your exams and all the best for your exams. Once your exams are over, I request you to share your question papers with me on the WhatsApp number so that I can share it with other, like your juniors, right? If I upload it on YouTube, it helps a lot more students. So make sure you share it because that also helps me list down the important or commonly asked questions for the upcoming batches. So I would always request you, whatever exam you are appearing for, whatever semester, whatever subject, always make sure to share the question paper so that I can list down the important questions from there, taking reference from there. So that's all for today's video. Until we meet next time, all the best for your exams and bye.